Hi everyone, I'm here today to talk to you about my spring favourites. So things that I have been loving recently. Some of these things are pre-current circumstance and some of them I have been loving very recently, and anything I can link, I will link in the description box down below. I would love to know in a comment what you have been enjoying, because things that make us happy at the moment, very worth sharing. So first off on my list is a board game. I have been enjoying this, which is Azul. This is a mosaic game, so the aim is to collect tiles so that you can make a complete row of your mosaic, or a vertical line, or collect all of the tiles of one particular pattern, and you're competing against the person that you're playing with, obviously. Mr. M and I have been enjoying playing this. It's not very taxing, it is very beautiful, and we have been, just put that down, thinking of ways that we can play board games with friends. Obviously, computer games exist, and that would be a way that we could play online, but we wanted to try and play traditional board games with friends who obviously are not physically close to us, which is everybody. So we've been seeing which of our friends have the same board games that we do and which ones work well to play over Skype and Zoom. So we need to do more research into this, but so far Quacks has worked really well. It's our favourite game anyway, so that's great that Quacks of Quedlinburg has worked. And it works because each player has their own board, so it's really easy to play over Skype and Zoom. I've spoken about that before, and I've spoken about my favourite board games in general in a video, and I'll link that in the description box down below. So if you're also missing board games, see if you happen to have the same board game as a friend and whether that would work online. Obviously you could also play things like Pictionary or charades, etc. Card games probably is something that I want to look into and see which card games would work too. Okay, now this next one is a really exciting one. I find it really exciting. It is a brand who make kitchenware, and they're called OXO Good Grips. As far as I can tell, they're in no relation to OXO stock cubes. And they make appliances, tools for people who have arthritis, but you could use them even if you didn't have arthritis. But they are amazing for me. My hands aren't as great as they used to be, and I've been struggling with certain appliances. These make everything so much easier, and it's quite hilarious just to have really big utensils. So this is the wooden spoon that they have. It's really big, so very easy to grip. OXO Good Grips. This is their whisk. I've now become like their poster person. None of this is sponsored or gifted. I just love them very much. Their peeler is amazing. Also, it's the best peeler I think I've ever used just in general. Their rolling pin, also brilliant. It's really, really heavy, and the middle turns, but the handles don't. They are turned upwards and weighted so that you don't catch your hands on the countertop. So I think everybody would love this, but if your hands are really stiff or you have misshapen joints like I do, then this would be particularly useful. But the best thing that they do, in my opinion, is their storage boxes, and I think anybody would love these. So I struggle with the metal caps that you flick up, and also screw lids sometimes. So these are their airtight containers, and this is how you open them. And then they're open, then you put them back on, click it again, and it's airtight. They are incredible, so I have a lot of them. This one is for granola. This one is a taller one that I have for oats. I also have very much enjoyed using a label maker. I am now a person who owns a label maker. I hope that excites you the same amount that it excites me. I find it thrilling. Things that we have been enjoying in the cinema and online, just going back to my list, I really love the TV show Lock and Key, which is everything that I love in a show or in any kind of book. It has that Return to Oz type feeling to it without being absolutely terrifying. I still think about Return to Oz sometimes, and it makes me shiver inside. But it's about a family that move to a house after the father of the household dies, and they keep on finding these keys around the house which open doors, but into not really other realms, but they do strange things. So one of the keys can open someone's head, and then you can walk inside that person's mind, and each person's mind materializes in a different way. So one of the characters' minds is shown as a shopping mall, and you can peruse all of the memories in a sweet shop. It's beautifully filmed. I loved it. So if you would like a bit of escapism, I highly recommend it. It was based on a graphic novel, which I haven't read. It does have the feel of a children's book, but it is for grown-ups. Think Coraline, that kind of thing. Like most people, I went to the cinema to see Parasite and absolutely loved it. I'm sure it'll be available to rent or buy soon, so keep an eye out for that. But it's a Korean film that won all of the awards, rightly so. A horror film, dark and twisted, but funny in places and with excellent commentary on society, classism, racism. It was fab. 2 documentaries that I've loved watching on Netflix, but that loads of other people have also loved, so I won't dwell on them too much because you've probably heard people talking about them a lot. The first one is Cheer, which is a documentary about the cheerleading squad in the US who are getting ready for nationals. You follow all of the team throughout the course of a year, all of their individual backstories, what they put their bodies through, their determination. It is just so intense and immense, heartwarming and heartbreaking. Loved it. The other one we watched this week, along with lots of people, was Tiger King, which is a documentary about Joe Exotic. Louis Theroux did a documentary with him about 10 years ago, I think, but this one is set only a few years ago. He runs a tiger zoo in the States, and what he does is not cool at all. The reason that this production is really fascinating is because the producer went to film him to make a reality TV show, and then something happened. So it then turns into a true crime documentary. But with most true crime documentaries, you're then interviewing people afterwards and you never get to see them before that event. In this, you get to see them before anything has happened, along with lots of other bizarre things that happen along the way. So I've never really seen anything quite like it. As I mentioned in a recent vlog, Mr. M and I have been going for walks at 5 a.m. That is our daily exercise. I'm in a higher risk category, so that is the time that I go out because not many people are out at that time at all. I say 5, it was 5 and then the clocks went forward. So really it's been 6 recently because it doesn't get light until about 10 to 6. And walking around the woods in the dark is not something I would particularly recommend, but we have been enjoying going on those walks. And what I've been doing is putting snippets of those up on Instagram stories. So if you need a moment of calm, you can find those over on Instagram. And every day, everyone on Instagram guesses, well, not everyone, anyone who wants to guesses how many squirrels we're gonna see that day. Mainly it's been about 22, but on Sunday it was 92, and I don't really understand what was happening on Sunday, if they were throwing some kind of squirrel party. I'm not sure. Something else I've also been loving is reading Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass on Instagram Live every day at 3 p.m. "Why with an M?" said Alice. "Why not?" said the March Hare. Alice was silent. The Dormouse had closed its eyes by this time and was going off into a doze. But on being pinched by the Hatter, it woke up again with a little shriek and went on, "Oh, anything that begins with an M, such as mousetraps and the moon and memory and muchness. You say things are much of a muchness. Did you ever see a drawing of a muchness?" "Really? Now you ask me," said Alice, very much confused. "I don't think—" "Then you shouldn't talk," said the Hatter. So if you would like to listen to that, you can head on over there and I'll link it down below. The readings are saved to my profile for 24 hours. It's just been, I don't know, a lovely thing to experience with you guys. I've enjoyed doing it. You said you've enjoyed listening to it, so it's just been really, really nice. It's giving me the warm feels. And at some point in the future, I may do a recording of the whole book to put in one video on here or on Books with Jen podcast, something that you don't have to be listening to live, something that doesn't disappear. If I've got time to do that, I will do it. But at the moment, doing the lives has been really, really lovely. On Instagram, I also saw that someone had done Disney characters in quarantine for COVID-19, That was hilarious. Honestly, it brought such a smile to my face. Does anyone else find themselves feeling slightly delirious and laughing more so than usual at memes, etc.? Because that's definitely me, but I promise you that this one is actually funny. I'll link it down below. And I have also been loving Lauren Paley. She is big on TikTok, I think, but I don't have TikTok, but she also cross posts to Instagram. She sings in the stairwell of her what's the word? Her block of flats. There we go. I couldn't remember that word for some reason. And she has the voice of an angel. So if you would like some short snippets of beautiful singing, then go and follow her too. Couple of final favorites. I've been loving these wireless headphones. I don't have AirPods, Apple AirPods. Is that even what they're called? I feel really old talking about this, saying I don't have TikTok, don't have AirPods. My goodness. I don't have wireless headphones. I just have bog standard headphones that I've had for forever. But wireless headphones I decided to buy, and these are not really expensive ones at all. I think they're about £25. I'll link them down below if I can. And because Mr. M is now working from home all the time, I'm working from home, we're in this 1-bedroom flat. It's lovely being around each other all the time, but also you need your own personal space. So having wireless headphones has meant that if I go into the kitchen and I'm making dinner or I'm washing up or whatever, I can listen to an audiobook on my headphones instead of just playing it from my computer or my phone. And that makes it feel as though I have created a little cocoon of space. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Anyway, I've been enjoying that. And then finally, what was the final thing? Let me check my list again. Oh yeah, the final thing was that I found an online Harry Potter escape room, and I would love to find more of these. If anyone knows about online escape rooms, I will Google it myself and look for some more too, but if anyone has any recommendations, let me know. This one was all right. It took us about 15 minutes or something to do, and we had a Harry Potter ASMR room on in the background, which was lovely. I've never done an in real life escape room, but this was just a series of questions and riddles that you had to answer in order to get out the other side, and it brought a smile to our face. So I'll link it down below, our faces, because we each have one. I will link it in the description box down below. And my final favorite, which I forgot to mention when I was talking about things that we had been watching, is that we have really been enjoying the Great Pottery Throwdown, which is essentially the Great British Bake Off, but with pottery instead of baking. So every week the potters have to make vases or a tea set. They have a technical challenge. It has been so delightful and just lovely. Just lovely. And don't we all need a little bit of just lovely? So I would recommend that. If you're in the UK, that's on 4OD. I don't know where you can view it elsewhere, but give it a Google. It's great. So those are the things that I have been loving recently. I would love to know what you have been loving recently in a comment down below. I hope you guys are doing all right, and I will see you soon. Lots of love. Bye.